is Kristen Thomas with Sup Connect, and it's already been a whole month of doing these Sup Connect live interviews with the many of the interesting people in the stand-up paddle world. And today is absolutely no different. We're very excited to have Casi Rynkowski with us today. She is joining us from Massachusetts. Remember, will continue every Thursday, 1 p.m. Pacific time. That is 10 a.m. Hawaiian and 4 p.m. Eastern. We also have a Facebook follow group, live discussions where we can put links and pictures following these talks. So right now we are connecting. Yay! It worked!
Yay! It did. Well, you're kind of high. I'm going to lower you here. Oh, there we are.
Can we see each other?
Yeah,
Yay.
we can.
So wonderful to have you. Well,
Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, great. And thank you, Sup Connect, for letting us do this all month. It's been really fun. So
Absolutely.
I am excited. I mean, you are a true multitasker in the stand-up paddle world. And I met you through trade shows, but from that connection, I've learned of the many things you do. But unlike some of the people I've talked to, I haven't had a chance to do these really neat things that we're going to talk about that you have done. But I look forward to in the future doing many of those. I have to throw out right at the beginning, there's a question that's not really a question. Tom Fukunaga? Is he the One Piece Clan guy?
Yes. Hi, Tom.
He wants to know if you're really Wonder Woman. And as we talk, people will understand why he said that, because you really have been so involved in and started so many great things and been involved in so many great things. So we're going to get back to kind of that trade show and women. And I feel like you're a sister, even though, again, we only see each other at maybe surf expos and different trade shows. But you came at this from, everybody does, from sort of a different angle, kind of the fitness side, to talk a little bit about how you got into that and then how that led you to stand-up paddleboarding.
Sure. It's funny. A lot of people don't know that's about me, but I actually started off in the fashion industry. You would never know it with what I wear. I'm always in spandex and in t-shirts now, but I worked in the fashion industry in buying and marketing for like 15 years. And I was there for a while, and when I had my children, I like a lot of moms do, I quit my job. I stayed at home, and that really didn't work out for me. I kind of lost a piece of who I was and really kind of wanted a lot more. So at the time, I had thrown myself into fitness, and I realized, wow, I really do like physical hard work. And was never in my DNA to begin with. I mean, I was a cheerleader in high school. I rode horses. I was on the equestrian team in college, but I was never really considered myself a physical being. So I fell in love with training, and I decided to reinvent myself as a personal trainer. And from there, shortly after that, I dabbled in outdoor adventure sports, rock climbing, ice climbing, surfing. And I quickly learned that there weren't a lot of women out there that liked this sort of thing. And I seemed to always be in a pod of experts or a pod of guys. And I was like this token beginner. So I really wanted to start a business selfishly for my own purposes, to find more women like me, but also to kind of foster the training idea of fitness outdoors. So in 2007, I launched my training business, and I offer personal training and outdoor adventure trips for women. So that's how it all started.
It's just so fantastic. And it is such a wonderful niche. And it's so true about sometimes women don't feel comfortable. You're a little younger than me, but we really are at the beginning of women even being accepted as and kind of considered an athlete. I was definitely right at that. I happen to be from a family of only girls. I have a mother who was a PE teacher. So I didn't feel it until I got a little farther along to school and then found out, wow, we have these different teams, and there was just a separate and unequal kind of thing going on that, Title IX and things like that have really changed, but it's still out there. And it is interesting, like learning I didn't learn to surf till I was turning 40. And the women who had husbands who are surfers didn't want to learn from them. It doesn't always work
Hmm.
that way, but being in a safe group of women was really a great way to experience. So I just love that your fitness became outdoor fitness and adventure. So the outdoor thing and the adventure, and you found water in different forms. I mean, things that I really want to come back and do with you, like ice climbing. And I haven't done that much rock climbing, even though we have a lot of that around here. But I love that it led you to water. And I
It
mean,
really did. It really did.
we get
Um,
addicted to water, don't we? And
we do in all
all that it
forms,
gives.
right?
Yeah. In all different forms. Yeah. So talk about how the stand-up paddling came in. So you had this business and you were
Sure.
outdoor adventure, and surfing came first before stand-up paddle.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, surfing was one of the things I started, actually prone surfing first. And
Mm-hmm.
after I launched my business, I started bringing in more different types of outdoor adventures. And one of them I offered was paddle boarding, and I fell in love with it immediately. And right after I tried it, I was like, this is a great thing to incorporate into fitness. You know, the instability of the board itself lends a lot to fitness in general, but also the
Mm-hmm.
different niches within paddleboarding, you know, multi-day adventure trips, whitewater. There was just so much to do. So it really was a natural progression to kind of bring that in. So I got certified and I started teaching right away. And in the beginning, my focus was in sup fit and CrossFit style sup wads and stuff like that because it was very similar to training. But as I became more familiar with the different sports out there for paddleboarding, I immediately dove right in and I tried every single thing except
Yeah.
for foiling. I haven't foiled yet.
Yeah.
But
Same.
that's how paddleboarding became part of my outdoor adventure mix and what I offered.
Yeah. And you're off obviously really willing to take risks and to jump
Hmm.
in, because even things like a sup wad, workout of the
Hmm.
day, for those who don't do CrossFit, is you were having to invent that, weren't you? I mean, it wasn't like there was a whole bunch of people out there doing it. Or did you?
Right, right.
Yeah.
It was in the beginning, and we were working. I was working with different CrossFit boxes, if you will, and they would come out. We'd pull together a sup wad. They would do a beach component, and they'd run out and they would do sprints around buoys.
Hmm.
They would do overhead squats out on the boards, burpees on their boards, stuff like that. So at the time, it was fairly new. Now it's more common. It's out there a lot. But yeah,
Wonderful, wonderful. So, in that whole spirit of adventure,
mhm.
you and a friend, Anna, or is it Anna? It's Anna, isn't it?
Anna,
Yes.
Anna Levesque. Yep.
Have started, and we're not exactly going in order, but one of them has been going for 4 years now. You have started these camps in amazing places. But let me back up for
Yeah.
a minute. There's a really cool series called Facing Waves, that was
Yeah.
pretty early in stand-up paddling. And you were saying that kind of opened up the door in terms of finding these amazing venues where you have these camps. So maybe mention that first and where you
Sure.
started.
Facing Waves is this awesome adventure video TV series where they would take different paddleboarders, bring them to places, and you would experience the location and paddleboard in these different locations. And I had the opportunity to go to one in North Carolina on the Crystal Coast and also in Barbados on a surf trip with some of the guys. I was the token beginner, only female surfer on that one for Barbados, and I really got to know some of these places. And both of these places that I went to, I recognized right away. I'm like, oh my gosh, these are perfect places to host paddleboard camps because they really offered something for everybody. They had really safe places to paddle for beginners that were calm, yet they had places for surfing. They had places that were more challenging for downwinding. So there was a whole lot that we could do. So when I met Anna Levesque, who at the time was also a Big Sup ambassador, When we met, we had the opportunity to first co-guide on a different camp in Hawaii together. And that was really when we realized we made a great team, that our
Hmm.
personalities and teaching styles were so similar. And we had the same backgrounds of wanting to help women. We realized we had something here because, you know, your retreat is only as good as your guide is. People can throw anything together, but if you don't have the ability to really foster and care for your participants, then the experience won't be the same. So from there, after Camp Samada, we sat down and we said, yes, let's do this. So we started Camp Crystal Kai, which is in North Carolina. It's an all women's paddleboarding camp. It's in a progressive format, so you don't have to have any experience, or you can have experience. So
Hmm.
the beginning of the camp starts off with SUP 101, and the week grows and the adventures grow as the week goes on. And everybody works at their own pace, and it's a come as you are. There's no age requirement, there's no skill requirement, there's no fitness requirement. We have women that are 24 and we have women that are 72 that sign up for our camp.
Love that.
And it's wonderful. And folks often ask, well, how does that work? 24 and 72. And the age really kind of melts away when you're together with a group of women
Mm.
supporting each other. It's really sometimes the 24-year-old is supporting the 72, and sometimes the 72 is telling the 24-year-old, you have this.
I love that.
So it's a very interesting dynamic, and it's a very supportive environment, and
Hmm.
I'm grateful to be a part of it all. That's for sure.
That's a very special thing about stand-up paddling is that it really does kind of melt away the differences in our shared
Yes.
joy of the water. I'm lucky later this year I get to co-guide my first trip, and you were in really early 4 years ago because it really is exploding. And I've have when I was working for the SUP industry, I got a lot of questions about people wanting to go on experiences, on expeditions. They say
Mhm.
that the millennial generation, that's what they want. They don't necessarily focus on just one thing, but they want to be able to have experiences. So I'm
Mhm.
sure your camps will continue to be very successful. And I look forward to maybe some adventures with you in the future. So the second one, so North Carolina started it.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
was it two years later you started the second one?
Sure. Yeah. 2 years later, we started Camp Beijing Blue in Barbados, and this year was the second year running. And it's the same premise. It's a progressive format offering anything from surfing on up to adventure paddling, downwinding, sup yoga. All of our camps are in luxury homes right on the water. We have chefs that come in, prepare healthy meals. And in the evenings, the camp is not just during the day. You know, in the evenings, we sit down and we discuss women's topics. We have paddling seminars, and sometimes we just gab. But it's amazing what you can learn from these different women throughout the week. So every time I go on these camps, I'm learning as much as they're learning. I'm learning from them, you know, about their lives and what's worked and things they've achieved, and I'm bringing some of that back with me as much as they are learning stuff from me. So yeah, so Camp Beige and Blue, this is our second year running. I'm pretty excited about it. We only have 4 spots left for next year.
That's
So,
fantastic. Yeah, I
yeah,
bet that's one people want to return to too. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, you mentioned briefly, and your partner and co-founder of those camps, the industry, and
hmm,
you not only are you an ambassador for BIC, which became SI, being an ambassador, I believe, for SIC, but you are
yeah,
the team manager also. So
sure.
speak to that a little bit and what it's like working with the um, one of the bigger companies that has supported stand-up paddling along the way, but has definitely morphed multiple times.
Yeah, absolutely. It's morphed for sure. So I think in 2012, I became an ambassador. And then the year after that, I took over managing the BIC sub team. And then fast forward several years later in 2018, BIC bought SIC. I took over management of the SIC team as well. And now I work closely with Anthony, developing marketing projects, working with the athletes, and also working with social media. So I've been in the industry for eight years now, I think, and that's how I met you at the trade
Hmm.
shows, and yeah, so I can't believe it's been that long, actually.
I know. Well, lucky for me that I got to meet you there and have we've met lots of great people. And it was so neat at the beginning, especially I think just because it was new and there was
Mhm,
such a focus on it and such energy. And it still is there, but we definitely have had, our ups and downs as the industry
mhm.
has to, well, current situation included. um,
Absolutely, right?
things are different, and I think Arturo from Stand Up Panama is waving and saying how wonderful you are. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah,
Arturo,
lots of good,
hopefully,
like, yeah.
he future plug. We are
Yep.
working on a camp in Panama right now with
Yeah.
Arturo, Anna and I. So we hope to launch that sometime in
Fantastic. Yep.
21.
I
Yeah.
was talking with him at the last talk about Panama and wonderful it is. I've been there a couple times. Absolutely love it. Yeah, so you are still an ambassador because you do all these different water things
Mhm.
yourself. You have your own business, and you also, have raced and whitewater, and as you said, all different aspects of stand-up paddleboarding. But one of the things at the trade shows that we've had an opportunity to do together is to try to bring some focus on women because this is the
Mhm.
first time a water sport has, and statistics are hard to find sometimes, but equal or more women than men
Mhm.
in a water sport. And that's unique. And we had some good conversations around that and talked with other super important and strong and fantastic women like Lily from MTI
Mhm.
and Evelyn from the Stand Up Journal now, but even before she was with them. About Jessica, we had on a panel. So we've been able to do some little panels and talks and things about that. Um, I hope we can continue to grow that as, I mean, again, in our current situation, trade shows are a crowd event and we don't know when they'll get going again. But do you have any vision for that and how we might grow that and how do we speak to and about women in stand-up paddling?
This is a topic that I'm pretty passionate about because the industry has largely been dominated by men. And that's common, I think, for even in the outdoor industry. And I think you
Hmm.
um, you, myself, and Evelyn, we always tend to cloister together at the trade shows because we're the only women really in the industry. Well, there are other women out there for sure as well that are coming on the scene, but there are not that many women who sit at the table in developing products, and there are not that many women who sit at the table and say, this is the direction marketing needs to go.
Hmm.
And things have changed, things have changed over the years of where marketing once was for women, trying to sell women the dream, when really where it is today, where women want to relate back to the products that are out there and the participants that are using them. So
Hmm.
it's a very different view. And so I'm hoping we can get more women in the industry sitting at these tables, creating these things, whether it's marketing or products, to help better represent women out there who use the product itself.
Absolutely with you on that one. Yeah. And we want to be represented and should be represented, but it takes what you're doing in camps, empowering women sometimes to feel like
Mm-hmm.
they can and should be in those positions. And I think you're right. It's kind of the sports. There's some great groups in the outdoor industry world beyond even the water part,
Mm-hmm.
doing their part to try to bring women into leadership roles and such that I think are fantastic and we need to continue to work at. Um, there's another program that's, I know, near and dear to your heart that is more charity than camp, but that you've been involved
Mm-hmm.
with and actually, with the help of friends, is now officially a nonprofit. Tell us about that.
Yes, yes, this is Paddle for Recovery, and this program is a labor of love. It started 3 years ago, humbly myself, in the New England area, and Paddle for Recovery is free paddleboard lessons for cancer survivors. It is sponsored by SIC and MTI. They both have donated gear, and In SIC's case, also a truck to help me get around. And it's basically that free paddleboard lessons for cancer survivors. And first New England area, then the next year followed, and it grew to 11 states.
Which is just
So,
fantastic. In a very short amount of
yes,
time, you've been able to grow it too. Yeah.
yes, 11 states. And we just brought California online last year, and Maggie, wonderful
Very good
Maggie out
friend.
there,
Yes. Hi, Maggie
who
Adams.
taught her first two classes, which filled up in I think 2 days last summer.
Hmm.
So we now can say we're on West Coast and East Coast, 11 states. Our goal is to double that. And I could not do this without the help of my team. So last year, both Ann Biddle and Michelle Courier came on board to help out. Ann Biddle was largely played a large role in getting us to that nonprofit point, which we're official now. And so we hope to double the amount of states this coming year. I know we have some things we're up against with the current situation with COVID and other things, but fingers crossed, we're not giving up.
Yeah.
We're going to forge forward and continue trying to offer these. Now, Paddle for Recovery can't happen without the generosity of the paddling community. So the paddling community provides their hosting location, their gear, and their instructors for free. And the Paddle for Recovery team links them up with cancer survivors and fills the classes. So this is how the program works. This is how the program has exploded through to that generosity. So we're hoping to continue the momentum for sure.
Yeah, that's just a fantastic program. And maybe if somebody's listening or listens to this later on YouTube, could they get in touch with you? That's probably where
Oh,
the Facebook group will be really helpful. And because we'll have links to all the different programs, including this one, and how to get a hold of you if they might be in a
sure.
state and be willing to offer those free classes and work
Sure.
with you on
Yes,
that.
we are looking for hosting locations across the US who are willing to just donate their location, their gear.
Mhm.
If they don't have instructors, we can also link them up with instructors, but that's all you need to do to start. Everything else we handle. We book the classes, we fill the
Fantastic.
classes, we give you the
Yeah.
class roster, and it's easy.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, you are a true multitasker, and I don't know how much you want to share, but you have three kids, including, I believe, one who's in this unusual situation. Is he graduating this year from high school?
Yes, yes,
And
I have three
yeah.
kids. Chase is 18 and he's graduating from high school this year. Sky, my China Pea, everybody knows her as the China Pea. She's 15, and Gray does exist. He's my youngest. He really does exist. He is 11, doesn't like to go on camera often. But yeah, they have been a big part of also my adventure world. I try and incorporate them in everything I do. We do one-on-one adventure trips throughout the year. Um, so yeah, and Chase is going off to college now. I hope, things will progress and he'll
Yay.
be able to
Yeah.
go. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That's fantastic. And I'm a little ahead of you. I have three children also, but that's funny that my youngest people didn't think existed because he's never on camera. He's always hiding. But he's
it's
25. And I
it's
have
the
one
way
turning
the
30
last
next week.
goes.
So I'm feeling old. Yeah. Yeah. Funny how those roles of the three children play out. So your situation, I know I follow you and I love seeing your trail running, but what's happening in Massachusetts in terms of what's happening today in terms of are things available to you? Are there things shut down? Um, how much are you able to work with people? Is it more remotely? Is it this kind of situation? So for your own, what are you doing to keep yourself in shape? And what are you able to do in Massachusetts, both water and otherwise?
Well, right now we're still kind of in lockdown mode.
Mhm.
We're not allowed to go out on the water like the lakes that surround where I live. A lot of people don't realize I live an hour and a half from the ocean, so when I surf, I drive an hour and a half. So I can't really go to the ocean right now. The lakes, the county and state parks are closed. So I do trail run, and I trail run a lot because it's right outside my back door. And I still train. I'm still Zoom training clients. I do one-on-one Zoom training, so that I can do. And obviously, I'm still up and running and working with SIC. I talked to Anthony and the folks over in Tahe in Wareham weekly. So we're still up and running, not doing business, but working behind the scenes, of course. So yeah,
And I
still
do
we're
have to throw in
hoping.
that's Anthony Scaturo. Yeah. Just because we
Yep.
just spoke with Anthony on a different Anthony on Tuesday. There's lots of good Anthonys in the
Oh
stand-up
yeah,
paddle
yeah, yeah,
world.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Anthony Scatoro, brand manager of SIC. Yes. So yeah, I'm
Who
getting
also
things
lives in
done.
my area. And
Yes, yes.
that's always good, getting things done.
Yep, getting things done.
Yeah,
Yep.
sorry, wait a minute. Well, that's great to hear. And hope you are staying safe and happy. Um, I know where you said you live sounds amazing. The fact that even though it's a long drive for surfing, that you have access to snowboarding, to ice climbing, to
Hmm.
everything within a couple of hours, which is a pretty special
Hmm.
place to live. Are you a Massachusetts native?
I am, and I'm a New England girl. I love the fact that, although the water I wish was closer for me, but like rock climbing's 15 minutes away, snowboarding 45, ice climbing, I could climb here if it was ever cold enough, but it's really like 2.5 hours, 3 hours away. So it's all reachable. And I like the variety, so I think I'm forever embedded in New England.
Yeah. I just have to mention this one because I remember just being fascinated. You paddle up a river, perhaps, or maybe it's along the side of a lake to a place where you climb over the water. I just love that idea. Is that right? Did I see a
Oh,
picture like
yeah.
that?
Yes, yes. So I offer a paddle to climb adventure,
Yeah.
and it's on Lake George. We also do, we've done it in the past down the Connecticut River, and we climbed off of Selden Island, and in the interior islands. But most recently, the last couple years, we've paddled 20 miles down Lake George. We camp overnight, and then we climb Rogers Rock, which is the 700 foot. I don't know, 5, 6 pitch climb that literally hangs over the lake. It's a wonderful experience, and it's a beautiful area. And that it's one of those trips that books within the day that I open it up, and it always
Mhm.
seems to be the same people because they just want to keep coming back for more. So it's a wonderful adventure, and I hope to have you.
Yeah, that one's at the top of my list, I think. But yes, worth a trip to the East Coast, absolutely, to do that. Well, again, thanks to SupConnect for allowing us to do this and allowing me to host. It's been so much fun. And Casey, always wonderful to see your beautiful face and to talk to you. And I learned a lot about all the things you do. I knew you did a lot between Sup Adventures and Sup Camps and Sup Fitness and every type of Sup on your own, and the Sup business world. So great, great chatting with you. Again, everyone, this will be recorded and on YouTube. If your friends didn't get a chance to watch with us, thank you to those of you who did tune in today. And we do have a Facebook follow-up group, which I would love you to join. And it is hashtag SupConnect Live discussions. So hopefully I'll see you in person soon, maybe September Sup Expo. And it's
Absolutely.
like, yeah. Or maybe for
Possibly,
that paddle to
possibly.
climb.
The
Even better.
September too.
Yeah,
Thank
great.
you for
All right.
having me.
Mwah. Great to have
Mwah.
you. Take
Ciao.
care, everyone. Be safe and healthy.